Greetings and salutations, Kingdom Hearts and RPG fans alike, and anybody who's a big-time lover of all things Final Fantasy and Disney. Welcome to the unboxing of the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Collector's Edition on PlayStation 3. This was something that I had already planned on getting 2.5. I missed it on 1.5, and I was like, oh, I'll end up getting 2.5. And then at the last minute, they ended up announcing this, and I picked it up off of the Square Enix website, because it had quite a few interesting little doodads included with it, as you can see on the back of this package right here. The magical saga continues in 3 remastered journeys, and it contains a Shadow Heartless plush. It actually is a steelbook, which I'm a big fan of steelbooks. I always thought those looked really cool. It actually includes Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5. That was a big time selling point for me since, like I said, I missed it on the first one, and this included both of them. As a collector's pin, and it has a hardcover art book, and me being a big time fan of art books, I thought that was kind of cool. The side of the box has the little crown logo on it. The bottom of it is pretty much exactly like the top, just a bunch of little logos and stuff. And naturally that's how it looks on the front, since you had already seen that when I started up the video. So let's go and unbox this packaging. Now, first thing that you'll see is one of the flaps actually contains the pin right there. So we'll end up taking that out as soon as we get everything else out. Naturally, the biggest part of this is actually the plush, and the plush is really, really big. I have a surprising amount of plushies now. I don't know how I ended up getting so many of these over time, but I did. There goes the steelbook, and let's get this art book out, shall we? And it does make me happy that they decided to go with a hardcover art book. And it's supposed to have the look of something that's leather bound. Naturally, it's not leather bound, but still, it actually looks kind of nice. But we'll have a look at that, and let's try to get this pin out without messing up the packaging. I hate whenever they package things certain ways and you get all worried about messing it up. And there we go. So we got that. Box is nice and empty, so we can just go and set that to the side. Now, the pin, I know that there's the collector's edition and there's a limited edition, and the pin actually comes inside of both of them. We'll go and take this out so you can actually see it a little bit easier. I know some people are just like, oh my god, it's being opened! How terrible! But, well, that's the entire point of this. So, you can see right there, it's Mickey and Sora. That's a nice looking little pin. I thought it was kind of cool that on the back both of these are actually in the shape of Mickey Mouse's noggin, so it's kind of amusing. But yeah, it's a neat little pin. Actually has the chain from his keyblade right there, completely separate from it. So got that, and it says Kingdom Hearts 2.5 ReMIX. ReMIX. Now on here, this actually contains a little bit of plastic, so I'm going to go ahead and rip this off the best that I can. Actually, it came off pretty easily. Thought it might be a little bit more annoying than that. So, it's not all glossy or anything like that. Actually, it feels really nice as far as steelbooks go. And steelbook.com is on the side there. And the art on it, if you're a big time fan of the art from any of the Kingdom Hearts games, then something like this is going to be exceptionally nice for you, since it has a vast majority of the cast, at least a main character class, from a lot of these games, and I thought that was very cool. And I figured there's going to be more art on the inside, so let me go ahead and move this out of the way. So we got both of the discs inside of there, and as you can see, it's clear on the inside, so we have even more art to go and check out. But right there we have Kingdom Hearts 2.5, and right here we have Kingdom Hearts 1.5. So, and I know that there was quite a few people that were bothered by the fact that they already had 1.5, and they didn't actually see the point in getting something like this, but for anybody like me, it's actually quite good. So, right there, get a nice little piece of art, though it's kind of hard to see King Sora essentially going and sitting there, all Game of Thrones style and stuff, hanging out with Donald Goofy and stuff. But let's go take that disc out, And again, more art. That's one of the reasons why I end up liking a lot of the cases that are clear on the inside and actually include interior art. I just think it looks really killer. So get the discs put right back inside of there. And close that up. And I don't know if you got to see that all that well, but right there on the side, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 ReMIX, and has bunch of little logos on it. Again, it's a really nice looking case, so it might actually stand out by comparison to the rest of my PlayStation 3 games, because sometimes they'll end up making something like this, and then they'll have the little plastic slipcover that goes over it. This doesn't actually include it, but I'm completely okay with that, because worst case scenario, I can always just get a regular generic case or something like that to, if it's something that's exceptionally glaring on my shelf. Let's see, both of these right here, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, these are our manuals, air quotes here, which are basically not manuals. They're just kind of warnings and all sorts of other things, and telling you about the controls, and that's really about it. So, I'm one of those people that I actually do like my manuals. I wish this did include at least full-colored manuals to some kind of degree. Fortunately, it doesn't have anything like that. We have an art book, but no manuals. I don't know, called me an old fogey or something, but I kind of prefer the old school way. But let's go and, well, actually, no, we'll save that for last, because I think that's actually pretty kick-ass looking. So, we got to see both sides of this art book. There isn't anything inscribed on the side of it, or anything like that, but we can open it up and at least take a look at some of the stuff on the inside. Now, there's some line work here with a lot of characters, and this actually looks more like a storyboard right here. Jiminy Cricket and Sora and Mickey Mouse and stuff. Forward, Kingdom Hearts 2.5 ReMIX marks the 10th Kingdom Hearts game to release overseas. However, that is only one of several significant milestones for the title. It also marks the first overseas release of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix and Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix, two titles that I believe represent everything that the series has come to stand for in the years since we created them. And goes on to go and talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And right there, Tetsuya Nomura. I always butcher his name really bad, I do apologize. But many of you out there will probably know his name because he's a big-time artist and is, you know, has worked for Square Enix for a long time, has worked on tons of titles there, including, you know, Final Fantasy franchise and Kingdom Hearts, etc. So right there, we get to see Sora and Roxas, obviously, two of the more important characters. Auron, who, I love Auron. He's actually probably one of the more badass characters Final Fantasy has ever had. You can see Riku, Kairi, and just, you know, it pretty much goes through everything. And by the way, Zack is a bad motherfucker. I always love him a whole bunch. Ever since I went and played Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. So right here it shows summon Sora forms and summons. Lilo and Stitch, oh my god, so badass. And there goes Axel. I quite fancy Axel, he's pretty fucking badass. Maleficent, which I still haven't seen the Maleficent movie. I don't know if it's actually any good or not, but I've always been a fan of her character just because she always looked really neat. We get to see a whole bunch of the Heartless and other types of enemies here. Keyblades, which I always thought the Keyblade designs were really fucking cool. I mean, who the hell wouldn't want to run around with the Oblivion? Like, I'm sorry, but the Oblivion, that looks incredible. I love something like that. That's just really fucking neat. And then we get to see some of the worlds here. And concept art, too. I always like concept art. But right here we get to see Pride Land, which obviously is from The Lion King and stuff. You can see what the characters look like in the individual worlds that they end up going to. Mysterious Tower, Land of Dragons, Agrabah. But yeah, I don't know, I always like art books like this. Assuming that the art is actually exceptionally good and something that I can, you know, be interested in, gravitate towards. Let's go and rip this sucker open. Come here, plushie Heartless. Like those, his little legs were all backwards and stuff. So let's see, what does this tag say? That is a gigantic tag. Choking hazard! Alright, so right there, a little shout to Ashen's got a sad onion there. So there might be 0 to 3 sad onions, and they are not permitted apparently. So that's the get the fuck out of here sign, so we got that. And right here, Shinjuku Square, 62730, and Square Enix, not intended for individual sale. But you know damn well this will end up showing up for individual sale somewhere. I think that the little arms and stuff being all like flappy about and stuff kind of reminds me of a lot of puppets and stuff, but little antennas, whatever you want to go and call them, up on top. I actually thought that these might bend or something like that, but they seem to be pretty stationary. But little eyes right there. Look into his soul. Dun, 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 dun. And that's one of the points that if somebody walks in on one of those on that particular section of the video, like, what the fuck are you watching? I'm watching AlphaOmegaSin unbox a game. No, it doesn't seem like that. But apparently so. But yeah, I like this quite a bit, and I just think it looks really cool. Naturally, I'm going to end up cutting this thing off because this is fucking ginormous and kind of ridiculous. So yeah, it needs to go away. But either way, this was one of the major selling points on it for me. That and getting both Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, but I thought it was pretty fantastic. So anybody out there that was interested in getting into the Kingdom Hearts games, and especially if you missed out on some of the titles like I have, you know, I never got to play Recoded, for example, and I never got to play Birth by Sleep, so this is kind of nice for me. Now granted, while it's a really good Kingdom Hearts collection, you know, the fact that you're getting so many games with it, you're not going to end up getting something like Dream Drop Distance, which is on the Nintendo 3DS. So you never know, that might end up making some kind of a console release. It would actually be nice to see it show up on the Wii U. The Wii U definitely needs some Kingdom Hearts love. But overall, really good collection, I have to say. I've been wanting to go back through the original Kingdom Hearts, for example, because it's been years since I played it. And the very idea that I now have all of them, you know, in HD and trophies and stuff, and we're getting even more primo versions of particular titles that were Japanese exclusive for a long time, is pretty fucking rad, I have to say. So, there it is, the collector's edition of Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 ReMIX, which was on Square Enix's website. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing, because it's a pretty kick-ass little series. I want to go and share it with all of you out there. So anyway, I will conclude this. Like always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on. Wish I could get him to do that, so we can... Here, how about this? Let's get that. You ready? Game the fuck on. And that should be a GIF somewhere. But yeah.